After my cross-country drive to Tucson, I began the medical school rotation which motivated the trip. I spent a week in the hospital eagerly awaiting the weekend when I'd have the chance to get out and explore some of the natural beauty that surrounds Tucson. Finally, that weekend came, and a friend and I set out on a day of spontaneous adventure. This is that story in photos. So when I was on my away rotation at the University of Arizona, which I described in a little more detail in my last video, I was staying with one of my friends who had matched at the University of Arizona for residency the year before me. A random Saturday kind of crept up on us, and we didn't have any plans, but still wanted to take advantage of it. And so we decided to just kind of set out, get out of the house, and go where the wind took us. The first stop was Baja Cafe for breakfast. And after that, we immediately headed to Catalina State Park. This is on the western side of the Catalina Mountains, Santa Catalina Mountains, that border Tucson on the north. In any case, we went on a short hike through Catalina State Park, which in July, in the Sonoran Desert, I'm not sure I would recommend. It was about 110 degrees, and so we hiked for all of 15 minutes before deciding, let's go somewhere else. And that somewhere else ended up being Mount Lemmon. And so Mount Lemmon is kind of the peak of the Santa Catalina Mountains that again borders Tucson on the north. And there's only one way up these mountains. It's a beautiful winding road, and this was my first time having experienced it. In any case, we eventually made it to the top of the mountain, and along this journey, the scenery changes from the Sonoran Desert to what is essentially like the mountains of Colorado. And so it's this huge change in scenery that, for the residents of Tucson, kind of provides a sort of escape from the summer heat. Along our drive, we made some stops at some various viewpoints just to have a look at the scenery and the desert below, and then we would get back in the car and continue on to the next viewpoint. Eventually, after exploring the very top of the mountain, we came back down to about 3/4 of the way up and found this rock feature that we could walk out on with a beautiful view of the road below and a distant monsoon. But that view wasn't quite good enough for my friend, and so he made his way down into the ravine below and started to climb up another beautiful rock feature that kind of defined the view. And it was at this viewpoint that we kind of accidentally stumbled upon that I ended up taking one of my favorite photos I've ever taken. And after sitting and looking at that scenery for what was probably a good half an hour, we got back in the car and made our way down the mountain. And as we did, I kind of reflected on this whole spontaneous day of adventure that wouldn't have happened if we had just decided to sit at home and relax. And I think it was this day that really got under my skin. It kind of made its way into my soul. And I knew that Tucson was somewhere I wanted to end up at some point in my life.